Have you ever wondered where Winnie the Pooh came from? How Pooh Bear got famous? And, by the way, if you're interested, do you know what Pooh Bear's name was before he became Winnie the Pooh? Listen closely and you'll find out. So now let's listen to Papa Pete as he introduces us to our friend Winnie the Pooh. In the early 1900s, before World War I, there was a real live bear who lived in White River, Ontario, in Canada. This is where the story of Winnie the Pooh really begins. When you come to White River, found on the northern shores of Lake Superior in Ontario, you know there's going to be something special about this Canadian town, because you discover that it's the very birthplace of Winnie the Pooh. Today, there is a park in White River where you can visit the statue of Winnie the Pooh. Make sure to stop there for a picnic, and just like Winnie the Pooh, bring some honey for a snack. Then take some pictures of that statue, just like Papa Pete did. It's fascinating to learn that thousands of bears from miles around, or kilometers if you're Canadian, still carry Winnie's real-life DNA yet today. Before World War I, in the town of White River, a young and very friendly bear was adopted by Lieutenant Harry Colburn, a Canadian soldier who was also a veterinarian in civilian life. He loved animals. Lieutenant Colburn named his newfound friend Winnie, after his hometown of Winnipeg, which is also in Canada. At just 7 months old, Winnie became the official mascot of the 2nd Canadian Infantry Brigade and had the wonderful gift of being able to keep the soldiers' spirits up as they trained to go to war. Winnie traveled with Lieutenant Colburn to England during this time, and because the soldiers, including Lieutenant Colburn, were then sent from England to the war in France, Winnie moved into the London Zoo to live. This gentle bear quickly became a favorite of visitors to the zoo. While there, the beloved bear also caught the eye of an English youngster, Christopher Robin Milne, who became very fond of Winnie and even named his own teddy bear Winnie-the-Pooh. Every day, Christopher Robin and his father, the aspiring English writer A.A. Milne, went to visit Winnie the bear at the zoo. Because of Christopher Robin's fondness for Winnie, Milne was inspired to write the fun and imaginary stories of Winnie the Pooh, which featured his very own son, Christopher Robin, and Pooh Bear, and their friends from 100 Acre Wood. Now, first, before we get into the stories, Christopher Robin's father wants to tell us how he and Christopher Robin came upon Pooh Bear. It begins with Christopher Robin's teddy bear, Edward Bear, before Edward Bear became Winnie the Pooh Bear. If you happen to have read another book about Christopher Robin, said his father, you may remember that he once had a swan, or the swan had Christopher Robin, I don't know which, and that he used to call this swan Pooh. That was a long time ago. And when Pooh the swan said goodbye, we took the name with us, as we didn't think the swan would want it anymore. Well, when Edward Bear said that he would like an exciting name all to himself, Christopher Robin said at once, without stopping to think, that Edward was now Winnie the Pooh. And so he was. So, as I have explained the Pooh part to you, I'll now explain the rest. You can't be in London for long without going to the zoo. There are some people who begin their visit to the zoo at the very beginning, called Way In, and walk as quickly as they can past every cage until they get to the one called Way Out. But the nicest people go straight to the animal they love the most and stay right there. So when Christopher Robin goes to the zoo, he goes to where the polar bears are, And he whispers something to the third bear keeper from the left, and doors are unlocked, and we wander through dark passages and up steep stairs until at last we come to the special cage. And the cage is opened, and out trots something brown and furry, and with a happy cry of, "Oh, bear!" Christopher Robin rushes into its arms. Now this bear's name is Winnie, which shows what a good name for bears it is. But the funny thing is that we can't remember whether Winnie is called after Pooh or Pooh after Winnie. We did know once, but we had forgotten, so now it's Winnie-the-Pooh. I had written as far as this when Piglet looked up and said in his squeaky voice, "What about me?" "My dear Piglet," said Christopher Robin's father, "the whole book is about you." "So it is about Pooh," he squeaked. "You see what it is? He is jealous because he thinks Pooh is having a grand introduction all to himself. Pooh is the favorite, of course, there's no denying it, but Piglet comes in for a good many things which Pooh misses, because you can't take Pooh to school without everybody knowing it. But Piglet is so small that he slips into a pocket, where it is very comforting to feel him when you are not quite sure whether 2 times 7 is 12 or 22. Sometimes he slips out and has a good look in the ink pot. In this way he has got more education than Pooh, but Pooh doesn't mind. Some have brains, and some haven't, he says, and there it is. And now all the other friends of Pooh Bear are saying, "What about us?" So perhaps the best thing to do is to stop writing introductions and get on with the book. Here is Edward Bear coming downstairs now, bump, bump, bump on the back of his head behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs, but sometimes he feels that there really is another way, if only he could stop bumping for a moment and think of it. But then he feels like perhaps there isn't. Anyhow, here he is at the bottom, ready to be introduced to you, Winnie-the-Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said, just as you're going to say, "But I thought he was a boy." "So did I," said Christopher Robin. "Then why do you call him Winnie?" "I don't, Father." "But you said, 'He's Winnie-the-Pooh.' Don't you know what 'there' means?" "Ah, yes, now I do," I said quickly. "And I hope you do too, because it's all the explanation all of us are going to get." Sometimes Winnie-the-Pooh likes a game of sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening, "What about a story?" said Christopher Robin. "What about a story?" I said. "Could you very sweetly tell Winnie-the-Pooh a story?" "I suppose I could," I said. "What sort of stories does he like?" "About himself, because he's that sort of bear." "Oh, I see. So could you very sweetly?" "I'll try," said Christopher Robin's father, and so I tried. Because this is the end of the introduction, it's now time to move on to the book about Winnie-the-Pooh, and listen to Papa Pete read the stories of Pooh Bear and his friends Piglet and Eeyore, Roo, Owl, Rabbit, and even a few more. Then make sure to listen to all 10 chapters of this wonderful book. It's such easy listening and fun, too. So now let's follow Pooh and Piglet as they head over to Pooh's book. You'll find the links to all 10 of the stories in Pooh's book in the description of this video. See you there.